Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku, and we also had Mina. Now, these two, along with Bakugo and Kai, were on Island. Bakugo and Kai, they went around the park, and Bakugo got a chance to cut loose, break some robots, and have a bit of fun. Him and Kai also talked about what was happening with Mina and Deku, and this was certainly interesting. Mina thought that Deku was a little bit embarrassed to be seen with her as a couple. They walked up to a vendor, and he expressed to Izuku a few things. And he talked about how he should buy a necklace for his lovely girlfriend. And that did actually get him a little bit more flustered. But Mina, she focused on the wrong thing. She has seen Deku's face turn red before, but she thought it was more out of embarrassment this time, not out of the idea that he might actually like her. There was just a lot going through her mind. And Mina, yeah, she got a necklace, and the two, they left. They found Melissa and David's home and got inside. And they also got a picture of Melissa Shields' mother who passed away. It is soaked in David and Melissa's energy, and it will be what they use to find these two. Now, they left, and Mina, she was able to get an exact location because of the strong magical connection and emotional pull this photo has to both of these two. And yeah, it might as well be a string on a thread, leading them to their exact location. And when Bakugo and Kai got back to the ship, Bakugo had quite a few things. A whole grocery list of stuff from Island that they could eat. And that is going to be for the game night they have after they save their allies. Now then, with that out of the way, we do currently have Deku. Right now he does his stand there, and a few things are running through that cerebral castration head of his. Right now him looking at a few things and bringing his hands up. Him manipulating the hologram in front of him, as currently he is a turn and bring his hand up, as he would go to express to everybody else. Alright, well now, he does have sort of a few things planned out, and if all of them could address the board, he can go over them. Currently Izuku going over the game plan with them, and it's quite simple. He is going to go in guns blazing as Humongosaur. If his calculations are correct, and they should be, the Omnitrix will time out exactly after he detransforms. And whenever they do arrive there, it should be recharged. Afterwards, they can make a full-on assault for David and Melissa's shield. He will distract using Humongosaur, and he will gain a lot of attention. He's expecting to hit a hybrid commander, or at least break some face and get someone down. He wants them to focus on all this. Kai goes in with weapons, and if she does need to, she can cause another small distraction. However, Bakugo and Mina, these two need to understand. If they do encounter anything, tell him immediately, and he'll make his way there. He won't hesitate. Along with that, this mission is a bit different than others. They're not sure if David or Melissa are in good condition. It's more than likely they are. They were taken because they had value as either hostages or as scientists. Both of them are remarkably smart, and he is running calculations. Whatever they're needed for, it's crucial to what they may be doing. And while Deku does a list over the game plan, there currently is in the back of his mind. He's not only running calculations on the battlefield about what might happen and simulations about everything, he's also thinking about him and Mina. The way she acted, the way things were. He's thinking about him and Kendo, how things are there, how they are physically I guess him and Kendo did good, but she broke it off with him. I mean, he didn't want to break up with her, but after Alien X and all that shit and spending 6 months in that prison, changing reality, bending it to his vote, it was a lot of responsibility. He's not even sure if he's the same person anymore. After that experience with Celestial Sapien, his mind feels warped and changed, but is it because he merged with a interdimensional being? I mean, there is a chance that the Omnitrix DNA it does stick around, right? I mean, it does help explain a little bit of things. His training, perception increase. I mean, he is stronger, but that's also because of his own physical training. His. Never mind, Izuku, not the problem. Deku going back to his other thoughts. And currently, he doesn't bring his hand up. Him pressing onto the Omnitrix, as the last thing going through his mind, as a crustacean, is Mina and her situation. Him and her have known each other since they were kids. Her grandfather died against Vilgax, and she's been at his side for a long time. Though, there also is that idea about what's left behind in the archives. The Anodite file. Mina. Mina. And Izuku, he doesn't stand there as a human. Right now, him with a thought in his mind. She's tried many passwords, though it doesn't say how long that. Interesting. You can enter in anything you want to, no matter how long. So the database should be able to read any length of password. Okay. Now that does make sense. Deku gonna stand there. And he is a bit more annoyed. As, right now, he does gonna walk over and sit down. Trying to think about a few more things. And there currently is above the area. The ship, it does go to begin its scans. And it doesn't make sense. Currently, Mina staring down and pointing out. Expressing. She knows that they're right down there. I mean, she can sense them right there. What's going on? Are you sure? I'm definitely sure. I'd say going for closer observation, but I don't know. It looks like a patch of forest to me. The ship's not picking up anything. Mina, are you... Is she sure we should go down and investigate? Well, what do you mean? These aliens have level unknown tech, right? They've dealt with level 5s and above. It wouldn't be out of the ordinary. Besides, if they want to hide their activity on Earth, what's the best way to do so? Well, if they're dealing with level 5s on Earth, then they've got to have a higher level tech. 7 or 8, maybe? You probably didn't run the calculation, did you? I thought about it, but I didn't spend too much time on it. Too busy on the strategy. Deku, throwing that out to Bakugo. It was one of the several things in his mind. And thinking about all that right now, he's not even thinking fast enough. Can you land the ship? Yeah, I can. But are you guys sure you want to go on a little bit of a hike? Yeah, it might be best. Besides, I don't think we'll be hiking for very long. You sure? Pretty sure. Renault, them going to sit back down. As Kai does go land in the nearby woods. And everyone, they do to walk out. Currently, a few things beginning to happen. Them walking through the woods and trying to find a few more things. Before eventually, they do walk through a opening in the trees. And they do gonna look around. Deku staring at a few things and going to step forwards. And everybody, they do watch Deku disappear before their very eyes. And it's sort of not good. Mina gonna step forwards, bring her hands up, and being a bit more concerned. However, she doesn't bring her hand through, and no way. Her gonna turn, expressing to them that she told them that they were here. Her gonna step through, and Deku, he does gonna look up and around, and it's a bit cold. Renobako stepping through with Kai, and Kai does bring her hand up and go to charge her weapon. Right now, her going to set it to a bit more of a lethal setting, since these things are definitely not good. And there's a lot more of them here than she thought. And Izuku, he doesn't look around. Currently, him going to stare on at a few things. Right now, Mina going to bring her hand up and express them on top of the ridge about what's happening. And she has to lean down, her looking around and seeing many of the antennas in the distance. We're going to turn her head, pointing it out. It's that building right there. You sure? I'm pretty sure. Her hung up the photo. It's folded in half, expressing that as long as she does have this, she knows all about them. How they feel right now. They're scared, but they feel okay. Though, I'm going to try something. Her bring her hand up. And Melissa, she does just don't sit there. Her looking at the disgusting food they've been serving them. She doesn't like it. It's disgusting, it smells weird, and she's not sure if it's even from Earth. It does a number on her stomach, but they've really got to eat. You okay? Mina? Yeah, hey, act natural, alright? Understood. What is it? Are you guys here? Yeah, we are. You and your dad okay? We're fine. Well, after all this is said and done, I need something good. Like, I mean really good. You don't understand. They've been serving this weird slop every day, and it's so disgusting. I'm so hungry. Trust me. You don't even know the half of it. What is it, though? It's so weird. I'm pretty sure it blinked at me. Oh, it's one of those. You know what it is? I do. But what have you guys been working on? Right, sorry, I'm really tired, okay? We've been working on a few things. That shield outside that you probably ran into, it's one of ours. Plumber in origin? No, we built it here. Listen, if you can, you gotta take it down, along with the pillars. Though, you gotta be careful. There's a lot happening. Right now, Deku gonna turn, pressing down to the Omnitrix as it does a pop up. Him going to smile, and he does get to turn the dial. Him going to move it directly over and onto Humongousaur. And Izuku, he does a think. Okay, the moment he turns into Humongousaur, he's got time. Though, up here is not good. He'll give away their immediate location. Okay. Him lowering his hand. And the Omnitrix is still active. Currently, Deku gonna turn and bolt away. Mina turning her head and bring her hand up. As currently Deku does feel something inside of his mind. And she does go to turn back. Deku, feeling her poke around in there for a second, we're gonna tell her. He's got this. Though, make her way over now. Since he'll buy her about 20 minutes if he can. Though, hopefully he lasts that long this time. Her goes to smile. And turn to Bakugo, expressing the plan. And right now the three do begin to move fast, as there actually is the DNA aliens who are currently on guard. Some of them are walking around and collecting materials here. They've been able to mine rare earth minerals in the location, and by actually going underground, things have been a lot easier for them. They're trying to get a base set up, a proper place to build the massive quartz portal, and that does mean quite a bit. They have been successful in the area so far. However, it's believed that there could be bigger reservoirs in other locations around Japan, and that's the main concern right now. If they can find them, they can do a lot. Speed up their time frame and get Earth and get what they need. Take the Omnitrix. And we do currently have where an alien is a turn. It hearing a massive flash and seeing a bright green light. Now, Deku, he has a turn running forwards, his massive footsteps stomping through the area for stepping forwards and grabbing the alien by the head. Him on a turn and chuck them through the air. The alien being sent flying through the air and smashing Doki into one of their machines. It denting into it as it fall forwards on the ground. It laying there as Deku. He has a turn. One of the DNA aliens gonna set off the alarms as Izuku, he does, gonna bring his hands together and grow in size. Right now him gonna scream out as he does, gaining the attention of everybody inside the base. And that, it does mean quite a bit. Now, there currently is the group, who, the moment they hear Deku roar out, they do begin to move. Since that was the signal. And Mina would try to express to Izuku, currently him staying there, that he needs to be safe. And he would tell her, you two. Right now her going to cut off communication, since Izuku does still have the badge. And that does mean quite a bit. Now, Deku, he does go to look down at the aliens, rushing forwards and bringing his hands up, swiping into three of them and sending them flying through the air. As he does a turn, bringing his hand up and ripping apart one of the machines. Now him gonna turn and chuck one of the pieces directly at somebody. The machinery flying through the air and pinning the alien down. Currently electricity flying from it as Deku does a turn back. Him bringing his hand up and grabbing a panel, ripping it off and going to turn, running in and swinging it left and right. Currently the aliens trying to blast at him as someone, they are alarmed. And we do currently have the room where David and Melissa are being held. David, he does not lay there. All of this reminds him of Kentaro's cooking. And it really hasn't been doing his stomach too good. As he lays there exhausted, dehydrated, and needing fluids. Along with the fact that he is experiencing a sickness. And it is not doing too good on his body. And right now there actually is the aliens, who they do stand there. As right now, they do get a turn looking at a few things. One of the prisoners going to sit there as Melissa is tinkering away with a piece of metal. Right now it going to be put together as she is trying to be a bit more careful. Right now her turning her hands and going to do a few things. She is basically playing a game of operation. If she does touch these metals together a certain way, it will cause a very, very bad sound. And that it is not good. As currently there actually is where she has a turn, hearing a commotion outside, hearing a massive cocoon and hearing the ground shake. And that it does make her a bit more concerned. We're now her tapping the metals together as they do going to create a high frequency sound that the aliens really do not like. The two going to bring their hands up to their ears and grabbing the sides of their heads, dropping their weapons as Melissa's a turn seeing that. Her going to actually turn back and grab the metal and get ready. Barehanding it as she does stand up, running over as the aliens they do go to hold onto their ears. And currently there is where she has to bring her hands up, tapping them again as there actually is David, who does a turn. Right now him staring at that as He's to throw off the blanket and get ready. Him gonna step forwards and tackle one of the aliens. And their actions where go, he's a smash through the door as Kai does come through with Mina. Kai bring up her hand and gonna turn, blasting one of the aliens as a smash down onto the ground. And right now, the two, they're happy to have reinforcements. And right now, their actions Melissa, who's a turn back, looking at the other alien metal. Her bring her hand up and running over. Her currently gonna pocket it as she does go to grab the rest of the material. Her picking it up and rushing over, talking about what the hell is going on, asking exactly if all that sound was they're gonna shake. And Mina, we're gonna turn, talking about how they don't have time, since they need to go now. And there actually is David, who hears a turn expressing to all of them that he'll cover them. Just go. Dad, no. Honey, listen. I'll do this, alright? Besides, I've got more experience. You can't cover the rear. We don't need to do that. Listen, just stay close to me and I can get us all out of here. Let's currently cut back over to Deku. Deku, he was rampaging through the base, and whenever he does send multiple aliens flying, he just stand there, yelling at about who the hell is next, because he can take on all these alien freaks. Now, someone does come walking up, and Deku, he has a stare at a hybrid commander. Them, with all those eyes, and that look on their face. The look of disgust, since he is a lower life form in their eyes. And Deku, the moment he does this stare at them, they do just step forwards. Right now Deku rushing in as the creature does come running towards him. Right now Deku bringing its hands up as there is where he's going to throw out his left hand. It's going to bring its hands up and trying to block the attack. Deku bring his tail around and smash into the person, sort of checking them as he has to swing all his momentum that way. The hybrid commander being sent flying through the air and smashing through a building. Currently it flying through another one and landing inside on the floor. Deku rushing through and bringing his hands down. Right now him smashing onto the person and dragging them across, throwing them up into the air and upwards to the ceiling. And the commander is sent flying through the air. Currently it going upwards and beginning to fall. And there currently is outside, where David and everybody, they are looking around and trying to make their way through the facility. As the commander does some smashing down and landing nearby one of the massive pylons. And David is a turn seeing that. Right now him a lot more concerned as their actions were Deku, he does come running by. Right now him shrinking and building up momentum. And currently the commander is to sit back up, staring at Deku as Deku is a leap upwards into the air and then gonna grow in size. Him going to actually bring his feet down and smash onto the commander, bring his hands down and grabbing at its head. Right now him putting pressure down on its skull and beginning to do a few things. Because he is curious. He's a bit curious as to what these things look like when they pop. And that it is all the rage Izuku has been trying to keep down. Deep down. He knows he should be more professional. Not harbor hatred for an enemy. It's what he was taught. But these things took away his family. These things took away his allies. They're trying to invade his planet. And honestly, it's really hard not to want to rip his head off and hold a goddamn grudge. And currently the creature doesn't bring his hands up. Him grabbing onto Humongousaur's arms and pushing him off. Right now it's going to actually sit back up and bring his hand up, smashing Deku directly upwards and into the chin. Deku throwing his chin down and making sure it doesn't hit him in the throat. And Deku, he doesn't feel his jaw get unhinged. Currently, him moving backwards as the creature is going to push itself backwards and then going to stand up. Currently, it's going to press down to the ground and leap at Deku, leaping directly at his face, bringing its hands up. And Izuku does a bring his hand up, grabbing the commander by the arm and going to turn. We're now him going to toss it through the air and send it flying. And the commander does a smash down. Deku going to turn and stare at the pylon, bringing his hands out and grabbing onto it, beginning to grow more and more in size. as Deku's tail does it grow spikes, and his armor, it does get a bit more thicker. Now, David is to watch on. Currently, Humongousaur ripping the pylon out of the ground, and I'm going to turn. Right now, him, I'm going to send flying through the base in that direction. As the hybrid, it does bring its hands up, charging through the pylon and smashing through the metal. Right now, it's staring at Deku, as Deku, he has to stare at it. And he has to do one thing. He has to rush towards it. Him bringing his hand up and going to get ready. Now, Deku's to turn the dial on the Omnitrix. Him rushing at the creature as he's to bring his hand outwards and smash it into the chest. It smashed him across the face as Deku, he does do one thing. He's to bring his hand down and jerky chomp onto its face. Right now, him biting it on the head as the thing does a scream out, bringing its hands up at Deku as Deku, he's to smash down with his left hand on the Omnitrix. Him gonna turn into Big Chill and jerky fly through the creature. Now, David is a stir on. Deku flying through it and then going to turn around. Before, he has to bring his hands backwards and smash into it. Run of the hybrid brings it flying down forwards onto the ground and in pieces. And that, it does not surprise him. Him currently staying there as Deku, he has to look up. And David, he does stir on. As he has a turn looking at everybody. Currently, this being where Mina would try to express, they need to go. David hearing that in his mind, and Izuku, he has him flying over. Right now, him flying down and grabbing onto David, picking him up, and going to fly through the area. Him going to fly him back to the fly him directly back to the ship. There we go. I cannot talk. And land him there. Deku turning his head and trying to express what to do. And David, he doesn't say a word. He knows that it must have been hard for Izuku. Taking a life. Actually killing an enemy. The boy's been trained to do that before. But this, it's got to be different. Right now that going through David Shio's mind. As Deku, he has to turn back into a human and try to express what they can do. Since the commander's down. And if they do fly inside, they can reveal these people. Right now, Kai running up the ramp and talking about how she'll get things armed and ready. As Mina does a step aboard. Right now, everyone climbing up onto the ramp as the doors do close. Everybody from the ship shifts quickly as Kai does fly it into the area and begin to light things up, blasting the pylons as there is where Melissa, she does a turn, bring her hand down and pointing at something as Kai does a target the systems and blast them out. Currently the ship have the beam fly through the air and strike into that massive thing. It gonna short circuit and then could explode. As the area, it is revealed to the outside world. And that ship, it does begin to get lit up by a few attacks. Currently, Kai gonna feel the ship shake and then gonna turn. Her turning her hand and adjusting things. The ship gonna be sent flying through the air fast. Now, the moment they do get out of the hot zone, there is where Kai does a turn on the cloaking system and then gonna set it to autopilot. It right now having a preset destination to head to, since they need to hide. And Izuku, he does sit there trying to think. Right now, it rushing through his mind about what he did. He actually intended to take life. He knew it would not be easy, but he's had to come to terms with it. These things are an enemy he has to destroy, though he wishes there could be an alternative. But there's not. Currently, him gonna hold up a frozen finger as he does his stare at it, since he has a sample of DNA of the hybrids, and that does mean quite a lot. Him going to stand and express. He's got to do a few things. Currently, I'm going to step out of the room as David is a turn. Him going to leave himself because he knows where Dick is going to head to. And currently they do to head to the ship's medical facilities. Izuku going to stand there as I set the finger down and get ready. Him bring up the Omnitrix and going to tell it. Activation phrase code 10. Currently, he needs it to activate DNA sequencing and analysis. Species understanding name hybrid. And he does want it to give him relevant data. We're now Deku bringing his hand out as the Omnitrix does have a beam shoot from it. And David, here's a walk into the room, seeing the beam scanning the hybrid DNA. And he does start to do a few things. Mainly, get himself some proper antibiotics, since he can understand what that stuff might be made from. Secondly, he wants a greasy ass slice of pizza. Just no questions after what they've been eating. And that, it does go through his mind. David, having it cross it, as his stomach does a gurgle, and Deku does a turn. The Omnitrix showing many things, along with expressing to him, hybrid DNA signature has been successfully integrated into the Omnitrix Codex. And it does show several abnormalities that have been solved. Abnormalities? Yes, DNA breakdown. And understanding of the sequence is simply explained as this. Species is suffering from lack of genetic diversity, and their lack of it within the last few centuries has left them infertile and unable to continue genetic lineage. Huh. That's not good. What do you mean? There's too much damage to their DNA. It's... Oh man. What do you mean? Wait a second. Lineage, DNA. Oh, that's gross. Yes. Yes, it is. Sometimes I wish I didn't understand half the things this thing says. Though that's a problem. Well, why are they here on Earth then? What could they use to... Oh. Of course. First it was Vilgax. Now it makes sense. That's why he wanted me to have the watch. That's why he said he took it. He knew they'd... God damn it, Grandpa. Izuku, are you fine? No, I'm not. I'm thinking, okay? I need to think. Though, we can drop you off somewhere safe. Maybe. Hide you in another town, city. I'd say perimeter safe houses aren't a good idea. That would be very, very much appreciated. Though I would say Island would be good. They might check for you there. That's true. Any ideas? I got one, but you may not like it. Currently, the ship gonna land. And David, he is let off. Him, right now, talking about a few things as Melissa, she's to leave with her father. And Izuku, he would hold up his communicator, expressing about what to do, since they need a panic button on this thing. If they activate it, he'll come running. Know that. As fast as possible. He'll use Jet Ray and break the damn sound barrier in the next town if he needs to. Just let them know they're alright. Check in whenever they can and make sure to start doing it daily. If they don't reach somebody, try again. And Melissa does understand. Start every hour, then every other hour. Then move it to 4, then 6, then 12, then daily. That's how things are. It should be standard routine. Though, routine is something they have to get used to again. And Melissa does have a few things on her mind. Mainly, what she might have for her next meal. And the two, they do to leave. as the ship does go flying up into the air and getting a few things ready. Heading back to the place outside the city where they've been hiding it for the last couple of weeks. And that it does mean quite a lot. Them going to land, as their actions were Kai, will go to Express, going to actually spin around. So, that was crazy. It was, yeah. I lost my cool a bit there. You did. How you feeling? Good, but we now know what they're after. Let me guess. It wouldn't have something to do with that watch? It does. A lot of things come back to this damn watch. Asmith. What did you do? No. They're dying. Everybody's staring at Deku. Him going to turn, expressing. Their species is dying. They like to say that they're of a higher species. They like to say that they're all prim and proper. But I mean, they certainly act like royalty. Stubborn and a pain in the ass. Yeah. High and mighty, too. Though, they're stayed isolated for so long. I don't fully understand it, but with how limited their numbers are, they made a few mistakes. I don't like what you're implying. I don't like it either. But the watch basically said it. They're having more strange things pop up in their DNA. And because of that, they're unhealthy. They're not as strong as they used to be. The one I fought, it was dying. It would have been dead within months. I don't know. I know for a fact now why they're here. But that doesn't make it any better. If we beat them, their species, it's gonna die. I'm wasting at Deku. And he does look down. There's a way to solve it. Alien X. Is that why he uses it a second time? Fix all of this? Right. Right. He could do that. Fix it. And that's a big risk. Not one he should take. But on the battlefield, he's outside of time. He could come to an agreement with them. Try something at the very least. Okay. Just focus, Izuku. You need to think about that more. Letting an entire civilization die to save your planet. I mean, they're not the good guys here. They're the bad guys. But they have their own reasons. He could try to help them. But they'd be too stubborn to accept his help. They would be. That's the issue. It going through his mind. And there actually is Bakugo, who would get a jump up, expressing about how, okay, so it's about 5 o'clock. He understands that they're all a bit busy and tired. It's been an eventful day. So what he's going to do is he's going to go shower real quick, change into something warm, and then he's going to grab a few things from his house. Izuku, does he want to come with him? Because he's going to do one simple thing. What is it? I gotta head to the store. Along with that, I was going to get a few things prepared. You know, we're stopping that game night, right? Maybe get a movie? How's that? Everybody's looking around the room. And their actually Mina and Kai do look back towards Deku, since ultimately they're curious as to what he might say. And Izuku, he does get to tell Bakugo. he'll take his board and head home. He's got to do something first. He'll check up on his family and come back. Though, they're definitely having a game night. They've earned it. And right now, everybody, they just don't smile. Since Izuku, he said something that they didn't expect. They're actually going to goof off, act like teenagers for a night. And that, it does mean quite a bit. Currently, Izuku going to have everybody walk out of the room. And there actually is Mina, who does stick around, walking back over to the console and trying to type a few things in. Since the Andite file is still locked. Mina going to do a new code she thought of, as she does get to type in her grandmother's name and enter. Oh, come on. Anything new? No. I haven't. It's just been annoying. I haven't figured it out. I mean, my grandmother is the only one who could have been the Anodite. I asked my mom, but she doesn't like talking about her. Neither do my dad. Right. But I did think of something. You said you tried everything, right? Yeah, I did. I tried my mom's name, my grandfather's name. I tried a bunch of dates I know. The day they met, everything. My mom's birthday, you name it. My birthday. Deku gonna walk over, bringing his hand up and typing it in. MINA space ASHIDO. Mina Ashido. And Izuku, he has to press enter. And the moment he does it do so, the file, it doesn't unlock. Mina, staring up for a second, a lot more alarmed. As information of the Anodite, it does go to pop up. And Mina does stare on, looking at the file. And Izuku, you'll get a turn to her, expressing. It was one of the thoughts in the back of his mind. What? I just, why is my name? I know. I just don't. I don't get it. I know. Um, you want me to run by your house, grab you something? I I'll head home on my own. I just gotta do some reading about this real quick. Thanks. You've been really helpful. Thanks, Zuzu. Deku gonna turn and walk away, since she's clearly distracted about that. And Deku, he doesn't walk off the ship, a lot going through his mind, and Mina begins to read a few bits of information, staring at the Anodite on screen. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.